Now, as I mentioned, I did want to highlight some of the players that are returning, specifically Jaden Greathouse for the wide receivers, because I think it is extremely important. When we talk about the quarterback situation, whether it's CJ Carr, Steve Angeli, or Kenny Minchie, they're going to have to rely on the returning receivers. Malachi Fields is not going to be here in the spring. He'll show up in the summer, but we're going to be looking for some of those guys to build some chemistry with the people that we already have in the building. Jaden had a good junior year. He ended on a high note. Obviously, some of his expectations were a little bit higher going into this season, and there were points during this year where it felt like he could be doing more. But as the season went on, and those late games needed somebody to produce, he was the one to do it. 13 catches, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns in those crucial late games. He established himself as the team's top receiver. He had only 592 yards total last year and 4 touchdowns, but with that clutch performance and that streak of games, he was able to really set himself as at least the top 2 or the best receiver in this room. And I think that he is going to be somebody that we're going to have to watch, especially in spring, to hopefully take that next step and be more of a consistent security blanket. We don't know exactly what we have in this tight end room. It's full of injuries and players who haven't been able to catch on just yet or make their way through the depth chart. Our wide receiving room is going to be the biggest part of that. Obviously, we're welcoming in Malachi Fields, like I said, but also Will Pauling. Will is going to have to try to replicate what he was able to do at his previous school. And, at Wisconsin, he had 42 receptions, 470 yards, and 3 touchdowns. We'll see if he can bring that over to Notre Dame. We've had some trouble being able to have some of those offensive weapons and utility guys show what they can do in the Notre Dame offense. Hopefully he can do that, and it'll help Jaden Greathouse as he hopefully takes another step for this wide receiving group. Jordan Faison recorded 30 catches for 356 yards and 1 touchdown last season, so he will also be in the room. Malachi Fields, mentioned his name a few times now. He had 55 receptions for 808 yards and 5 touchdowns in his previous season at Virginia. That will be a big point of emphasis to make sure that all 4 of those guys, if they are able, and they are still those 4 main guys that we're going to go with in the fall, to get involved early to help out a potentially young quarterback, or no matter what, a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of experience. Because as I've mentioned in previous lives and in previous videos, that quarterback room doesn't have a ton of snaps under their belt. Hopefully Steve Angeli, if he's the guy who's tapped in to be the starting quarterback, can adjust even quicker in that sense and help this team continue to set the expectations with wins against Miami and Texas A&M early on. I think that will be something really great to watch out for. As I mentioned, solidified his role as the primary target. Young talents will, like Micah Gilbert and some of the other guys that we have in the room, could potentially step up, have impactful roles. But I think it's Greathouse who's going to be that guy who could be the number 1 option for this wide receiving group and for this Notre Dame offense. The bottom line is this roster is just continuously evolving. We have a ton of key returning players. Notre Dame's receiving corps is, could see significant growth, or they could struggle due to that inexperience. But establishing trust is the biggest thing for this team. And I got faith that Greathouse can do it. I don't know which quarterback just yet. We'll see in the spring. Is going to be the one who's throwing him the ball and the one that is best equipped to get the ball into the receiver's hands. But it will be something that Marcus Freeman and the staff will decide. And I got full faith that they're going to decide on the right player to throw that ball and hand it off to Jeremiah Love, and those boys should have a very easy job doing it. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How will Jaden Greathouse fare in his 2025 role as compared to 2024? I think he'll take that next step. I think all signs lead to it. I think there's going to be other wide receivers that certainly get in on the fun, but I think he's the guy that this team will be able to rely on in crucial games next year, and in some of the games where we're looking for somebody to have a spark on this offense.